Welcome back. Right now we are going to talk about how the Promontory Foundation and the Park City Community Foundation have a new impact partnership. This is going to help deliver money to people who really need it here in our community. I'm speaking with Diego Zegarra from the Park City Community Foundation and Robin Milne from the Promontory Foundation. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you.
So we're very excited about this new partnership. It couldn't have come at a better time. Tell me a little bit more about it.
Robin, would you like to start?
I'm happy to start. About a month ago, Katie Wright from Park City Community Foundation and I got together, and we came up with the idea that our foundations together, teaming up, could look to the future to do some impact grants. And we had no idea when we were doing that 3 weeks later we would be presented with an opportunity like this. So as soon as we had the situation in town where we had a lot of displaced workers happen almost overnight, Katie and her team smartly put together a community response fund, and we were one of the first phone calls, and we stepped right up. We understood that our lead grant that we would give would hopefully inspire others. We knew we needed the fund to be fairly large, and I think Katie told me yesterday it's already up to over $150,000. So yeah, so that in a nutshell is how fast it all happened, and how quickly we were able to really deliver on the promise of an impact grant.
And Diego, how important are these funds to the Park City Community Foundation, and who will be utilizing these funds? How will you decide which businesses, which individuals will receive these?
First of all, we are so grateful to the Promontory Foundation for this partnership, and the funds are more critical than ever right now. The Community Response Fund was deployed to support those experiencing economic fallout from the COVID-19 circumstances, layoffs that are taking place, and immediately the Community Response Fund has been able to deploy grants to 3 organizations: the Christian Center of Park City, People's Health Clinic, and Eats Park City. Those 3 organizations, Health and Human Services, nonprofits in Greater Park City, are serving those vulnerable populations and are really stepping up, ramping up their services. They are already seeing an increase in demand for their services. And the Community Response Fund, like Robin mentioned, is now at over 150,000. We have a really generous community that is seeing the need. And our job at the Community Foundation is to assess where those needs are. This week, they might look like food security and health services. Next week, it might revolve more around paying bills and access to healthcare systems. The Community Response Fund is in a position to adequately, quickly deploy those funds so that organizations working in those spaces can continue to operate uninterruptedly and maybe even increase their services.
Robin, the Promontory Foundation is no stranger to raising money, especially for good causes. Where is most of these funds coming from? Do you have more fundraisers coming up? Where are you at within finding that money so that you can support nonprofits in our community?
Yeah, I think this year is going to create a challenge for every organization that raises money to help the community, because we are currently in a situation where you can't gather people to do that kind of work that they like to do. We're fortunate that we had some dollars in our coffers from our giving from last year. We still have a plan to raise the money 4th of July, and I think we're like everybody else, which is, hey, we can get through this, but we really hope it doesn't last too long, and that we can flatten the curve and get everybody back to a more normal life. So what I would say is that yes, we have some money still in our Promontory Foundation. We do raise that through the members, but what I am seeing is that our members are calling me and asking me how they can help, and so being able to point them to the Community Response Fund is exactly where it needs to go right now. I really appreciate how thoughtful Park City Community Foundation is being about how to look at the hot spots for what the needs are. It's a very real-time fund, frontline. So I think that we'll just have some unsolicited grants, if you will, or funding that'll just come from our members who have a generous heart and understand what's happening in the community right now.
You're right. We are very lucky to live in a giving community. Diego, you mentioned that you've been able to help through the Park City Community Foundation, some of the nonprofits on the front line per se, like Christian Center, Eats Park City. But are you getting flooded with people that are hoping to get some of these funds to help people? And how will you decide what and who you'll help next?
In addition to the generous donations that people have been contributing to the Community Response Fund, we're seeing a lot of folks wanting to volunteer their time. As of now, following Summit County Health Department's recommendation, we're encouraging people to stay at home, and if they are in a position to do so, support the fund. One of the things that we were conscious of is duplication of efforts, because there are so many well-meaning people in our community and so many people wanting to help. We wanted to encourage use of existing systems. One of those systems is the Basic Needs Assistance Program at the Christian Center. There, a social worker, through a quick needs assessment form, determines needs. Admittedly, this is going to be a challenging time for their staff because it will be difficult, right? In the next few weeks, we're going to see folks not being able to pay their rent, pay their bills due to loss of income. And the Christian Center's Basic Needs Assistance Program is set up to support those folks with that. And again, the social worker determines through a basic needs assessment who might be receiving some of those funds. And I don't think it will be an easy task, but we are there to support them. Who knows, there might be another grant to the Christian Center in the not so distant future. But so long as the funds keep coming into the Community Response Fund, we'll be in a position to deploy quickly to support those organizations.
Diego, it's good to hear that the Park City Community Foundation is being so incredibly conscientious of where they are sending these funds, who should get it. I'm sure it's a very hard task. Where can we get more information about how to donate, how to help, and how to get help through the Park City Community Foundation?
Certainly. parkcitycf.org/community response fund. We'll have the information. There's an FAQ. It explains our process and how we're deploying those funds. We are currently not restricting gifts. We are requesting unrestricted operating dollars so that these organizations can respond nimbly to the need and so that we can deploy the funds as quickly as possible. parkcitycf.org/community response fund. You can find more information there.
And Robin, where can we also get more information about the Promontory Foundation?
We have on our website, promontoryclub.com, under Community Overview, you'll see information about the foundation. It is headed up by a group of members, our advisory board, and you'll meet those people there and all the places that we give money over a year. But again, I think that what is so important about the Community Response Fund is the unrestricted funds and the ability to really look at the hot spots and be so responsive to the community, because I think the needs are going to be very diverse. And so I think we're really fortunate in Park City that we have so many nonprofits that are really on the front lines of a lot of different need areas. And so this really is the smart way to do this, and I think the most effective way to do this.
Well, thank you so much, Diego and Robin, for joining us today. It's very heartwarming to hear about how many people are being able to help individuals, businesses in our community who are really struggling. So thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us on. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Christine.
Be well.
We have more coming up on Mountain Connections right after this. Stay tuned.